Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making Mexican traditional tacos. The type of meat that I used is actually my favorite type of meat for this kind of Mexican tacos, and that's with flank steak. You can also make it with chicken or with shrimp or really anything that you can make. Tacos were originally made for people that couldn't afford too much but wanted a little bit of variety in their food. What I did is I took a pound of plain steak, I cut it into bite-sized pieces, and I also got a lime, which I also cut into pieces, mostly like they do when you go to the restaurant and you get a little margarita. Over here I have my spices. I have the adobo spice, which includes a pepper. You can get different adobos, which can include anywhere from more garlic or cumin. I like the one with the pepper. I also have minced garlic. Everything that I cook with, I like to put in cayenne red pepper because I like my things to be spicy. I also have regular chili powder, which you can get it at any store. And I wanted to be a little bit fun and use the ground up sea salt chipotle seasoning, which all it is just chipotle and sea salt. Right now I have my pan with the meat in it. I started browning it a little bit for convenience. I have the stove turned on to 5 so that way it can start to cook a little bit better. Now, as you're cooking the meat, after you've chopped it up, you put it in the pan and then you put a little bit of the adobo. Everything that I'm going to be making is to taste. So with the adobo, I like to do about a tablespoon of adobo. I really like adobo, so I like to put more in it. What I also really like is the chili powder and the cayenne powder, so I'm going to do a little bit more of those. If you're not so into the chilies, you may want to cut back a little bit. I normally put about 2 tablespoons in for the cayenne pepper, 1 for the chili powder, and like I said, I mostly eyeball it. So you just put it in there, you sprinkle it on top with the sea salt or whichever kind of salt you are using. You can use the regular salt. You do that to taste also. I am on a sodium-free diet, so I'm trying to cut back my sodium because I use a little bit too much salt. And with the garlic, you only do maybe about a teaspoon of garlic just to give it a really good flavor. And while this is cooking, you can come over here and you can start your tortillas. You'll want to start your tortillas almost about when your food is going to be ready. I didn't want to make homemade tortillas, so I went and got these tortillas. They're not my favorite. I would consider using the Mission tortillas, which are my favorite, and I know that you can get them in Kansas. In New York, there aren't that many Mexicans here, so the tortilla flavors are a little bit different. There are a lot of Puerto Ricans and a lot of Cubans, and they tend to prefer some tortillas made a little bit differently, but overall, it's pretty much the same. So you grab one of these tortillas, and traditionally, they are made by you just using your hands. For purposes today, I'm going to be using tongs, so that way you can get a grasp of how to use it. Growing up, my mom always just grabbed the tortilla after she would lay it in the pan, and you lay it flat. I use a cast iron, so that way it bakes evenly, or cooks evenly. And my mother would just grab a little spot and flip. But every once in a while, when you're not at that level, you will have a little bit of the tortilla that falls off. That is okay. Because really, it's just going to be a vehicle for your meat. The meat is an important part of the dish. That is what you're going to taste first. And that's going to be the one thing that you are going to want to focus on. So, as your meat browns, like I said, I started this a little bit earlier so that it wouldn't take so much time. You just keep on stirring it. Make sure you keep a watchful eye on it. and my meat is actually already done. So I'm going to scoop it on the side just to make sure that it doesn't burn anymore. And as you scoop it onto your plate, you're going to want to make sure that you get enough for your taco. I'm going to take my plate off, and then I'm going to go back to my tortilla and put it on my plate. I have flipped my tortilla a few times, and now when you prepare your meal, you're going to want to make sure that you get all your taco stuff and stuff, meaning your meat. If you want to add some tomatoes, you can. If you want to add some onions, you can. Generally, you do get to put onions or tomatoes on it along with the pico. I have this pico that I made before, and all it is chopped up onions, jalapenos, and some onion. I also put a little bit of cilantro in there, and I marinated it in a lime juice. You don't need too much, just a little bit to get you by. Then you put some salt in it, and it's ready to go. So then, you just take a scoop, or however much you like, and you put it on there. And the great thing about tacos is you can put anything you want on it. I like it with the pico, and then a squeeze of lime, and then like I said, I'm trying to cut back on my salt a little bit, so that's really all I need. And the last ingredient for me is the hot sauce, and that is a traditional Mexican taco. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you have a wonderful day.